Wow.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, it is. It's a good day in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
you, how,
It's
how you
it's
doing, Jennifer?
I'm good. It's Saturday afternoon, everybody.
Hmm. Yes,
It's been a great day so far.
in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
And I'm not Mr. Robinson. I'm Reverend Dr. Varian de Staples.
and I am Reverend Jennifer.
This is the day that the Lord has made. Every day is. And we're
Let us
all
be glad and
in it.
rejoice in it.
Rejoice in it.
Yeah.
My hallelujah. Hallelujah. We just thank you for joining us again for another episode of Race and Culture. Race and Cultures.
Bridging the divides.
My goodness. There's a lot going on. A lot
Wow,
going on out
a
here.
lot.
And we would like to open up, kind of borrowing a tag from another podcaster friends. Hot topics. The hottest topic that we have going on right now in this country and around the world has to do with Dr. Ian Roberts.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess I have to say former superintendent of the Des Moines School District in Des Moines, Iowa. And I'll just be very candid. I'm very familiar with that school district,
Yeah.
having once been affiliated and having our daughter having worked there
Not only that, we have grandkids that go to that school.
in that district. And it's a very touching personal situation for me. Once again, and I'll just be candid. Once again, I'm looking at another person that, as Tori calls it, melanated, a person with high levels of melanin content throughout their skin and facing another situation. As I open this up, this hot topic has to do with what has happened. I'm not going to go in all the different areas. I even know his attorney that's working with him. And I just want to just share with you without passing any kind of judgment because we are not judge, jury, or executioner, but we have to have an open mind. The Bible says, judge lest you be judged. And he who is without sin, let them cast the first stone. Can I get an amen?
Amen. None of us are perfect.
None of us perfect. That's from John 8:7. And so I think that I would like to open up to share a little bit about Dr. Ian Roberts and not get into a lot of the issues that are confronting him right now. But I think you will find this very interesting as I'd like to share this with everyone today. It's a clip of what he was doing in the district and helping people.
Now, while students settle into their first month of a brand new school year, officials behind the scenes over at Des Moines Public Schools do continue to work on that reimagining education plan. It's a story we've been following closely for months now. It's now been revised, $265 million initiative meant to address declining enrollment while creating opportunities. So, Dr. Ian Roberts, you're spearheading this initiative behind the scenes. A lot has gone on in the few months, so thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me, Nicole. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so we know the latest development is your revised plan that was presented in July, and now volunteers are out there collecting signatures for a petition. How is that going before the Tuesday deadline?
Thank you. It's going very well. Look, the signature collection process is one that involves a number of community volunteers that includes parents, members of our faith-based community, even members of the business community. And they have been collecting signatures, which is a required sort of process in order for us to get this official bond on the ballot. And thus far, we know we want to come to the school board at a board meeting on this coming Tuesday so the board can adopt the resolution. And we have the utmost confidence because of the community's investment that we will get that amount of almost a little over 7,000 signatures.
Yeah, I guess the exact amount is 7,224. Hopefully that means you can move forward. What does that time period look like between now to November, if it does get on the ballot, to convince those voters who may not have children in the district to vote for this ballot?
Absolutely. So look, the Reimagine Education Plan is an exciting opportunity for us to not only reimagine what is happening educationally in Des Moines Public Schools, but here's an opportunity for us to make sure that we are not only reinstilling the confidence in our public school system to improve outcomes to students, but we know that once we have strong public schools, we are also going to see a thriving Des Moines and Central Iowa. And so the Reimagine Education Plan is Des Moines Public Schools' 5-year plan to ensure that we are providing our students, every student who knock on our doors, with an opportunity to have updated and more sophisticated instructional programs. We want to focus on increasing preschool. Access to preschool for not only our students but our parents, our working parents, is really critical. The plan allows us to extend and expand that. It also allows us to focus a little bit more on our career and technical education programs. The plan will allow us to not only have an impact on every single student who knock on our doors for the next 5 years, but the plan is one that will ensure that for the next generation, Des Moines Public Schools will truly get back to that place of preeminence of being not only Iowa's largest public school system, but one of the higher performing school systems.
Yeah, we have about a minute left. I mean, this is for years to come for students and next generations. How do you look at what you want to revise? There's a long list, and decided that these of what you kept in this $265 million plan is what's needed right now for these Des Moines Public School
Did
families.
she say how many million?
65?
265 million.
Oh.
To make sure that every single student receives a world-class education, we were also thinking about what will be the impact on our community. And for those of us who are pushing the plan and sharing it, it's an average at about $200 a year. And the math tells us it's about $16 every single month. And that investment allows us to offer our students what we're calling signature schools, where we're going to look at programs that includes health sciences. We know that there's a great demand for that. And I shared earlier with preschool. Preschool is one that we will continue to prioritize. But equally as important, we want to make sure that every single student who is enrolled in the Des Moines Public Schools, when they walk across the stage at graduation, they'll be ready to either enroll in a college or university of their choice, enlist in the military or any branch of the military, or be gainfully employed with an industry-recognized certificate. So to reimagine education for us is more than just a 5-year plan. It's a generationally impacted plan. And the community thus far, the Des Moines community, they have said, look, here's a thumbs up. We see what you're doing. You've listened to us. And now you've gathered the signatures. Let's go forward and truly make this happen for this community.
Yeah, we'll watch for Tuesday. Good luck with this initiative. So many steps. Again, it's a generational impact that you're spearheading. So thank you again for joining us this Sunday morning.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
That's Dr. Ian Roberts. And, you know, I will always give grace to people. In our last episode, we gave grace to someone that was very, very controversial, having lots of issues going on, that lost their life. We will never, ever try to hold out discussing anyone and doing it in decent and in order, decently and orderly. What do you think, Jennifer, about that clip?
Well, I think Dr. Ian Roberts was trying to do some really great things in the Des Moines School District for the betterment of the children in the community. And then his vision was spot on. He was trying to, not only for the next 5 years, but for many generations to come. I think it was really cool to listen to the great things that he was attempting to do in that district. And I think he was very successful in initiating it. But what's sad is what's going on, what's happened to him.
Yes.
And, you know, my personal opinion of all of this is, you know, I'm not here to judge him, but I'm very, very disappointed and sad. And the more things that have been investigated with him has led me to believe that, in all honesty, it appears that he's brought a lot of this trouble on himself.
Yeah. I think that, you know, some of us make past judgments on people, and they put people into these high level categories of criminal activity. Nothing that I've seen where he has actually hurt other people. You know,
Well, not totally like hurt, but his lack of actions has an impact and has hurt students in the school district.
Okay, that from a psycho-emotional standpoint,
Yes.
a lot of the students you can see here in this picture, you can see the happiness that he's projecting himself in a classroom. And being an educator, I know that setting and that scene, to see those beautiful smiles on those, as we call kiddos, is so not kiddos as in candy, but KIDDOS, the kiddos that you place in front of you to, I've taught so many kids from pre-K to 12 and then university, and to just see people smile, even adults smile. If you can do that, that's always made my day to leave and know that I touched the heart of kiddo. And that's what he did. I've talked to many educators back in that district since this has happened. I can't find anyone, not one person that said anything bad about him. Everyone just loved him. And
Yeah. I mean, you and I were discussing earlier when I was growing up.
oh, wait a minute, I got to do my thing here. I'm still woke. I got my coffee. It wakes me up, and she's
And I
woke,
got my tea.
and she's woke too. We gotta drink our coffee to be woke.
Yeah.
Woke is a good thing.
Yeah.
You heard about Let Belly last episode. Go ahead.
So when, like I was saying, when I was growing up, and I never knew who my superintendent was in any of my schools that I attended.
Did you know your teacher?
Of course.
Did he or she show up?
Of course I did. But my point is look at this. He is in the classrooms engaging
That's right.
his students, not his student. Well, yeah, they're all his
Yeah,
students.
he's the superintendent.
They knew who he was. He was the type of superintendent that wanted to involve himself in the children's lives and let them know that they mattered. And for that, I can admire him.
Yes, and I tell you, throughout my entire career, even today in ministry and what I do and other things that I do, and even now in this podcast, it's all about one word: relationships.
Yeah.
We're here today on Race and Cultures Bridging the Divide to form relationships with everyone listening. That relationships are important in everything that you do and the kind of culture that you create. And of course, we can't live in America, it seems, without ever talking about race, that social construct. But it's Dr. Roberts formed relationships, phenomenal relationships. Like I said, knowing that school district, I never known superintendent that ever the relationship forming that he has done. It's always the superintendent is always sit in the ivory towers, they call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
behind their desk with possibly their feet up and
slow rolling, baby.
But here's a man that really involved himself. Now let's talk a little bit about what's happened to him and why.
Well, I don't want to go in great detail because I'm leaving that up to the attorneys to talk on.
Right.
So what has happened with him? ICE came in.
Yeah.
ICE came in and removed him. He was near his home, and he was taken into custody. First, they had him in a part of Potawatomi County Jail. Then they moved him to Woodbury Jail. And I know the attorneys are working feverishly to deal with. There are some criminal charges that relate to having a gun. And what I think is so ironic, there's all these places that have was not conceal and carry. Conceal and carry laws, and all over the place. And it's such a contradiction that we have people that are allowed to carry guns around.
Yeah.
And I do know one thing about this man, that he was he's from Guyana. He was also involved with the police department. Think about that. He was a police person, but he was on a special unit where they went after high-level drug cartel, and he arrested many of those high-level drug cartel people. And from what I understand, he was always in some kind of fear of them finding him, so on and so forth. So he carried a gun. He has lots of times he has a charge having a gun. Now this is interesting. He has a gun in his car. He had gone hunting, and he gets a charge for having a gun.
Yeah, I believe it was he got done hunting. It was a hunting rifle, and he didn't unload it after he was done hunting, and he got busted.
Yeah. So, and then he was very young. I think when he in his 20s, then there was some kind of. They always mention narcotics.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't know what level of narcotics there were. Were they uh, hydrocodone? Were they
Mm-hmm.
some other medication?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when
It could have
people,
been anything.
when people mention the word, I always am careful of what the news people say.
Yeah,
Narcotics, I mean, it could be a medication
sure.
that he had.
Well,
When,
maybe it wasn't prescribed to him
yeah,
and he had it on him.
but they were very careful when they wrote that.
Yeah.
They didn't write down. They didn't indicate in the list of things that it was heroin and cocaine. I
Mm-hmm.
think correct me if that comes out differently.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, this is a man that has done some good things.
He's done some really good things, but here's the thing that I'm having trouble with. He obviously lied on his resume. He
Embellished.
lied. He lied about where he got his PhD.
You got to make me be woke again.
he I mean, there's so many other things, and I don't want to go into great detail, but when someone lies, they lose their integrity, and all the good things that they have done, it's overshadowed now because he's really come out as a deceptive person.
Okay, come on, preacher. You know one thing that we say. You know, you can turn away from your wicked ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know, repent.
Yeah.
That's what is needed
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Dr. Roberts needs to have repentance, and
Yeah.
that means a renewing of his mind.
Yeah.
He has to start thinking differently, and that leads to behaving differently.
Yeah.
And I say that not just about him, but anybody.
Yeah.
His thoughts were not appropriate for himself.
I think there's something wrong with him psychologically, because here's a man that clearly did not have to embellish anything because he already had some credentials. He already had experience. He did not need to embellish on anything to get hired, but yet he felt like he needed to do all of that and to pump him up and make him look different and better and more prestigious. And
well, the word that comes to my mind is grandiosity.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
he had to feel he had to be more grandiose
yeah.
to be accepted.
That's really, and bottom line is that's sad. It's
Yeah,
sad.
because this is the sad thing about it. He obviously could do the job.
Yeah, yeah, and he was showing us that he could.
And I know professionally, he didn't need a PhD to do that job.
No, you don't need a PhD to be superintendent.
No, as long as he had a graduate degree, and then even if he had a bachelor's degree with commensurate experience, he could still do the job. But it'd be difficult because you have in the district, you have people that have masters and PhDs. But the problem I have with that is when you look at our military right now, you have these 4-star, 3-star generals and people that won silver stars and red. I'm not a military person. What do they call it? Purple Hearts. And you have someone leading them that has no real rank.
Yeah.
Now I can go on about that. So many things are twisted.
Yeah.
In terms of that credentialing that is out there, but we must pray for Dr. Roberts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then as we move,
and let me say one more thing before we move forward with this. Is it another thing that is so frustrating to me? Is that obviously he's lied. His integrity is gone, but yet we have somebody in the White House that is even worse.
Well, you read my mind again. We have, think about how ludicrous this is.
Yeah.
We have this person who is lying about going after the worst criminals and all that stuff, disrupting families.
Yep.
And right here, I don't know if they can read this backwards, maybe. We have a decision. How the Supreme Court's latest decision clears the way for racial profiling during immigration raids. So this man with 34 felony counts, rape charges, racial charges, people don't talk about this situation, but this is a man that also, speaking of racism, he denied wanting to rent apartments to people in California, and a real Justice Department back then found he and his father guilty of racism for denying renting to black folks and brown folks.
Yep. Yep.
And he's in the White House with 34
Wow. And we put this guy on a pedestal.
Yeah, and you got
And
Dr.
we allow him to be in charge. What is wrong with
Wait a minute,
us?
you're getting all upset there.
Oh, what is wrong with us?
We have Dr. Roberts, who, didn't do some good thinking. I call it thinking.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's making headlines all over the place.
Yeah.
This superintendent, but he was loved.
Yeah.
And he knew how to have relationships. The man in the White House can care less about relationships with anybody.
Dr. Roberts was an occult leader.
Oh, come on now. No, he was not a cult leader.
But he was trying to be a good leader for our children.
And I think at this point in his life, when he was in the Des Moines School District, he had reached a point where I'm doing the things that I love to do, and that's helping children, getting education right. My goodness, that program that we just showed in the video, millions and millions of dollars. I do know one thing, that he pushed back against ICE people coming into their schools. Now, knowing that school district, I can share with you all, there's a place in Des Moines School District they call the Bottoms. It's on the south side. And in that area around McKinley Elementary School is a large population of Hispanic people. A lot of them are migrant workers. The housing that they live in, I can remember, even back then and even now, they had dirt floors they were living on, sleeping on, and things like that. And ICE wanted to come in there and go in those families and just rip them apart. So, Dr. Roberts, we can pray for him, just like I prayed for the situation I presented last episode regarding an individual that said some terrible things about people, had awful beliefs. And remember, the way that you die does not redeem the way you live.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. You have to try to live as close to being right and loving your neighbor as possible. Yeah. And I guess that's what Dr. Roberts presented. He loved his neighbor.
Yeah.
And so how did we get to this point in our society? I've talked many times and mentioned Project 2025, and I've read all pages of it. There's like a ton of pages, 900 pages. It took me several weeks to get through it all. But here's a synopsis of it. I'm going to just let us talk about Project 2025 today and the dynamics of Project 2025. And so it has several categories, and I'm going to read to you.
Let me know when you want me to read.
Okay.
I think I can handle it.
Okay. Jen's a little under the weather still, from our situation, from our sickness. And so she may have to cough once in a while.
Or clear my throat like I've done.
And hope I don't have to perform CPR on screen here. Stay with me, honey. As they say, stay with me, baby.
Yeah.
Project 2025 is a detailed policy book produced by the Conservative Heritage Foundation. Now, you got to keep in mind, Stephen Miller is one of the architects of this. Heritage Foundation and a coalition of over 100 other organizations. The plan offers recommendations for a future Republican administration to dismantle or reorganize federal agencies and implement a wide-ranging conservative agenda. Since the start of his second term, the convicted felon in chief, Trump, has enacted several policies that align with the project. And that's called Agenda 47. Agenda 47. Someone in a parallel, and I'll go through that again as some other lady. So anyway, they align with the project. Though he he has also attempted to distance himself from it. See, that's a point. Now think, Stephen Miller, his advisory and everything, and he tried to convict fellow in chief, tried to tell people that he knew nothing about Project 2025. How stupid do you think we are?
Yeah.
The project's proposals are organized by government agency in a 900, as I said, 900 plus page document titled Mandate for Leadership, the Conservative Promise. Here are the key proposals in Project 25 that include, first of all, the executive branch and government, expansion of presidential powers. That means executive branch. You have three branches, legislative and judicial. This is interesting. To consolidate control over the federal bureaucracy by placing independent agencies such as the Department of Justice, DOJ, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation under direct presidential authority. Never thought I'd see this. The second category is civil service changes. Reinstate Schedule F. Now, keep in mind, out of those jobs that they got rid of and got rid of people, 200 plus thousand of those people they got rid of were black females. Okay. Civil service changes. Reinstate Schedule F, an executive order created during Trump's first term that would allow a future president to reclassify tens of thousands of federal employees as political appointees, stripping them of job protections and making them easier to fire and replace with loyalties to him.
Yeah, it's
To
happening.
him. And it's this. I want people to get an understanding that this is going on right now.
Yep.
It's not saying, oh, ho hum, that's him doing it again. No, he's doing it to everybody. If you voted for him, it's happening to you too.
Yep.
The third category in the executive branch of government under Project 2025, agency restructuring. We've seen that. He brought in Elon Musk, and this started happening with the Doge. Agency restructuring. Dismantle certain federal agencies entirely, including the Department of Education and the Department of Homeland Security. And we know who's at that. Miss Barbie Dow wannabe gnome. She dresses to get photo ops and all that. And the Department of Homeland Security or privatize their functions. Some proposals include a freeze on federal hiring and a new Department of Government Efficiency, that's that Doge,
Yep.
advised by Elon Musk to reduce agency spending and staff. Now, we know how much okie doke that Musk sold us. How many of you are happy with what has happened with Doge when you are getting zapped, not having certain income? Another area that's being affected under Project 2025 is this. Reproductive rights and family policy, abortion restrictions, advocate for a nationwide ban on abortion by using the Comstock Act, and that's to restrict abortion medications and materials from being sent through the mail. Also calls for revoking FDA approval of the abortion pill. I can never say that. Mifepristone. Yeah. Mifepristone. Now, think about this medication in the mail. So many companies are giving medication in the mail. So they're trying, but for reproductive rights, I'm pro-life, okay? Now, think about this. What does pro-life mean? Pro-life means that you respect the life of people.
Yep. I'm pro-life too.
But how can you be pro-life that these people propose that they are, say, on the reproductive rights, and you're blowing up Venezuelan ships, killing people because you claim that there's drugs?
How pro-life are you, Mr. President?
And you're going after families, breaking them up. They still have life.
How pro-life are you? Again,
Yes.
Mr. 47 President.
Oh boy, Jennifer is awake now. She's woke. Then
now this one ticks me off.
Okay, you want to read it then?
Data collection and surveillance. Increase government data collection on abortion and rescind protections that protect law enforcement. Prevent law enforcement from assessing private reproduction care information.
How does that, why does that tick you off?
Well, because medical information is protected, but not anymore.
You talking about OSHA?
No.
Oh,
HIPAA.
HIPAA.
I do not want the federal government knowing about my reproduction.
Yes.
That's
And
my information between me and my doctor and whomever I choose to also know, not Mr. 47.
I'm glad you took that because I don't know if I have reproduction. What do you think? But I'm just trying to make it line up.
I don't believe that this is pertaining to men in general,
There you
but
go. But guess
mostly
what, though?
women.
But guess what, though? You're my wife, and say something with your reproduction is going on, and they come in and interfere with your private information. That affects me. You know, we're one,
Yeah.
as the Bible says, we're one flesh.
Yeah. Now you and I, we watched The Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaids.
Yeah. And I always say handmaid, and I don't know why, but anyhow, Handmaid's Tale. I thought it was interesting, and folks, look for it because it's going to happen. In that story, the government went as far as a woman could not even get birth control pills without her husband's permission. Look for it. It's going to happen.
Yeah, we are living.
It's going to happen.
And see, there's a strong parallel, and I mentioned in one other episode, a strong parallel between the Order. The Order was an organization that formed to succeed from the United States in the Northwest Territory, and it was white supremacists. And trust me, this is Project 2025 is a white supremacist situation. So nothing to help people. This is nothing to help people. Is empowering these people in that are in power. And what else does it say?
You know, I always thought that I always grew up being taught that the Republican Party was all about less government.
Yeah, but
But hello, what's happening? We're getting more restrictions, more government.
But the problem here is this is another thing that I was just alluding to.
Mm-hmm.
Under that same category, we have promotion of, quote, traditional family structure, infuse government policy with Christian nationalists and biblically based ideals, including defining the natural family as being centered on a married man and woman. Oh my! See, and that's when the rubber is hitting the road. The rubber is meeting the road right now. Traditional family structure. I'm a person that came from a family where there was divorce, there was a lot of separation going on. A lot of my other friends. How traditional is that? You know, my mother took care of me and my 5 sisters and did the best she could. My father was involved, you know, but he wasn't there every night. So what is a traditional family structure? What do you think, Jennifer? But this is Project 2025. If you don't fit that category and you're not a Christian nationalist, this gets all twisted. Let me kind of go off here a little bit. Christian nationalists, if you look around right now, you see people waving the American flag. The American flag, you see people having the American flag in churches, and the American flag has replaced the Confederate flag.
Man, I saw this one church online, not too far from here. They had, as on their platform, they had the American flag, and then right over the American flag, they had the cross. And it's almost like, hey, if you're going to be an American, you have to be a Christian.
Under their policies of what a Christian is.
Yes. Now let me say something here. Natural family is in quotes. Natural family being centered on a married man and woman. So obviously they're not recognizing the LGBTQ society. They're what it's not saying, but I also am reading into it, is natural family being identified as one race family.
Yes. And see, that's another issue, is that the racism that's
Mhm.
woven into this,
Mhm.
you know, to exclude people of color and people that are the
Yep.
first Americans and Asians.
So, dear, I'm sorry to say this, but there may come a time in this country where you and I are not recognized as being married.
We're not natural.
Natural.
See, and this goes back into the slave codes, into Jim Crow, and what more categorically
Mhm.
miscegenation laws. And I'll get into that in another episode. So I'm just giving you a thumbnail print, Project 2025.
Mhm.
But let's move to the next.
Yes.
But
I kind of already touched on that, the contraceptive access.
potentially restrict access to contraception.
Mhm.
You mentioned Handmaid's Tale.
Yep.
Including emergency contraception, limit access to fertility services like intravenous fertilization.
Give me a break.
Don't be cussing up in here now. So, wow. This gets into what we just kind of alluded to, social and cultural issues.
NDEI
eliminate
initiatives.
all federal diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI program and mandates. Now, I'm going to just be real. When people hear the word DEI, I'm going to tell you straight up, they're talking about Black.
Yeah.
If you are Black working in a job, you know, people saying DEI, we used to use, and there used to be another term, affirmative action. I remember a case, the Bakke case, when he tried to get into school and he was felt he was reverse discrimination because he was white male.
Mhm.
Well, the problem is this, folks. For centuries, Black folks have been denied opportunities no matter how hard they tried.
Mhm.
And it gets back to Dr. Roberts. You know, he embellished himself
Mhm.
to up himself to look more credentialed
Mhm.
because how would they accept me if I don't have this and have that? When obviously he knew how to form relationships.
Yeah.
But DEI, you know, I mentioned last week that one person that I paid tribute to said, you know, if they took a plane ride, Charlie Kirk, and he saw a Black pilot, first thing comes to his mind, I wonder if they're qualified,
That is so
if they're
sick.
not DEI.
That is so sick. I'm sorry. That's just wrong.
But DEI, diversity, how incredible it is to know that we live in a very diverse
Yeah.
country.
So they've ended DEI.
Yeah.
They ended equal opportunity employment
I talk to
protections.
other educators,
Mhm.
and it is a shame if they're in a classroom and they talk about they're talking about what's happening in South America or somewhere, and they mention a racial term, they mention something related to being Black or whatever. They said that they can get fined and get arrested and all kinds of things just for mentioning a racial group. I said, are you kidding me? My family, other people coming out of the civil rights movement, fought long and hard. Some people lost their lives to get people to recognize people. And this country is based upon what happened to Black folks and what happened to white folks. I'm not dismissing other people, especially my Jewish brothers and sisters. I know I ended up going to a high school where it's predominantly Jewish, and the issues that would happen there, even today, the anti-Semitism, it's crazy that's going on. The DEI, but this is all in Project 2025. People read it. Okay, if you're a person that is affected by diverse equity inclusion, they may just take that away. And then here's another thing we talked about: limit LGBTQ protections, roll back non-discrimination protections for LGBTQ and Americans, and gender affirming care for minors using federal funds. Jennifer, I remember back in the day, I used to be a bouncer, and one of the places that I helped out, just kind of would do that, was a gay bar. And this was the time when they would do gay bashing, and people would drive up to this place and just try to harass and assault people that that are gay or
Yeah.
lesbian.
Yeah.
And then I got involved with the Gay and Lesbian Alliance
Yeah.
with their board and just helping. Now, as a pastor, we have our limits in what we would do. We still love people, but I can't, get involved with a lot of other things. But I'm going to protect people, and it's about human rights.
Whether you're straight or gay, you're human.
Your human
And
rights.
you deserve to be treated with respect and dignity.
And then it goes on, prohibit transgender people from serving in the military.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people, that will go into that foxhole with you, no matter what they look like. And you need to think about who's going to help you when you are in a crisis situation and battle.
They've gone through the same training as you, passed the same tests.
That's right.
So to add on that, recently I read that Pete Hegseth is also a proponent for restricting women from serving active duty in combat.
Yeah.
Which is wrong. I mean, I think there's a lot of women that sometimes can do the job even better.
Yeah. And let me check something real quick. Yeah. I think that
as you're checking, I wanted to say one thing about that just came to mind, going off script a little bit here, but your family, my dear husband, your family, for the most part, has done nothing but open their arms to me and loved me and accepted me for who I am.
Right.
They have treated me as though I have always been part of the family. And let's say a little bit more about that. You can't talk to a family member without them saying, "How's Jennifer, your wife?"
Yeah, I remember my dad. I called my dad up.
Yeah.
Say, "Hey, Dad." He says, "Where's Jennifer?"
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't say, "Hey, son, how are you doing?" He says, "Where's Jennifer?"
Yeah.
So I say that because your family has not only talked about DEI amongst themselves, but they're living it. They're living it out.
And that gets back to the whole peculiar institution of slavery when we had what they call mammies. And it was, it was those black females that were actually taking care of the white children on those plantations and suckling and all those kinds of things. And I remember a phrase, "We give you all our love, and why do you hate us so much?" That's so incredible. And you're right. In typical Black families, they will accept anyone and show them love. Like you can see it in churches, for example. I don't like, being a pastor myself, and you being a pastor. We've been in all kinds of churches, and when you go
Wait a minute, I'm sorry, you said you don't like us being a pastor?
Well, I don't like certain things that happen in churches.
Oh, okay.
That's
Thanks
what I meant
for
to say.
clarifying.
I might have said something weird, but I'm just kind of fired up. But if you like in a predominantly Black church, for example, a person that's not Black, I know I don't use the term African American. I think I've explained that many times, but I'll keep on explaining it. I know more about America than I do about Africa, and most people that are here that claim to be African American, your descendants might have come somewhere in the West Indies.
And yours have.
Yes, mine came from, I have a good family lineage package that I'm very aware of. But a lot of people go to the Black church. They get accepted.
Yeah.
How you doing, baby? No,
Yeah.
what's your name? No, kind of thing. Or, how you doing, sir? What's your name? Kind of thing.
I will say one thing is your family has accepted me, but they still tease me.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah. And that's the acceptance.
All out of love.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm not going to talk about your family right now.
My family loves you.
However, moving right along.
So let's talk about the next one, censorship and curriculum. What's going on?
Encourage school choice and parental controls while banning books. My Lord. and
Mhm.
discussions on topics like race, gender in the classroom.
That's happening, folks.
This president that you have all elected, they've gone on a serious book banning.
Now I will. Yes.
And you can see it even bigger than this, eliminating, certain monuments. They talked about removing Jackie
Yeah.
Robinson, moving, things in the Smithsonian Institute, that relates to Black people. Now, it's always Black people. It's
Yeah.
the Black things in the Smithsonian.
Oh yeah,
But
our museums, they depict the suffering of Black people. Oh dear, that's just too much. I think we need to get
it
rid of that.
it happened.
Yes.
It happened.
But I will
People,
say one thing that I am in agreement with is that we do have to be careful of what we are allowing into our schools and their library as far as things that are taught that I believe should be taught by a parent. And that would be the gender affirming, the sex. That there's a
Yes.
place for everything. If you and I had young children that were in grade school and I was informed that they are being taught sex education to a pretty interesting and in-depth degree, I'd be pretty upset because I wasn't given that opportunity to do it the way that I feel.
Okay, I just want to share with you a list of the books here. Books by Toni Morrison, Beloved, Nicole Hannah-Jones, The 1619 Project, Richard Wright, Black Boy, Angie Thomas, The Hate You Give. Another thing is we have The Color Purple. Was banned.
That's
I Know Why
disgusting.
the Caged Bird Sings, Maya Angelou. The Bluest Eyes by Toni Morrison, and then we have all these books that are being banned because they talk about Black folks. And but freedom of speech, freedom to read. Now, this is the same thing that Hitler did.
Yeah.
The same thing, burning all the books so you can't have knowledge. And so that's the censorship in curriculum. And then
I hold this up because we need to all get woke.
Come on, girl.
Wake up.
Wake up. Mel.
Look at what is going on. This is nothing but authoritarianism,
Yeah.
and we are in trouble.
Authoritarian, Bolshevism, dictatorship, you name it, they all fit the same.
Yeah.
Then this is the interesting one, pornography ban.
Yeah.
Advocate for outlawing pornography and targeting companies that provide access to adult material. I know here in Florida, they actually banned, legislatively passed the thing that they took the access to the one site Pornhub away. Now, I do agree that there should be controls over pornography, especially the way young kids get
Parental.
things that needs to happen.
But when you're an adult,
When you're an adult,
you get to make your own decisions about what you watch.
Yeah, and I don't agree with child porn and all those kinds of things. And
oh, heavens no, that's disgusting.
So I do like the fact that control that situation,
yes.
because sometimes people become addicted to that stuff and they lose out on their own relationship. Wow. So those are some criteria in.
But I'm sorry, but you and I don't need a government to control what we are able to watch.
That's right. And if people are in, they say that if people are consenting adults and they're married, they should be able to, enjoy their life together the way they want, if that's what they're into, I guess, but then this next category is the one that's really interesting.
Can I back up just 1 second?
Yeah, back it up.
If they outlaw pornography, folks, what's next? If they say, hey, you're a consenting adult, you're 18, but we're no longer allowing you to view pornography, even though that's not like totally my thing to do. But my fear is what is it going to lead to next? Well, are they going to say, oh, you know what? Watching watching game shows on TV is kind of bad because it makes people lazy. So I think we're going to ban that.
Well,
I think talk shows are bad because they can be kind of slanted and they attack the president. Oh, wait a minute, that's happening.
well, Mr. Epstein,
That's happening.
Mr. Epstein, Mr. Epstein, Mr. Epstein, are you watching pornography too? Oh, forgot, folks.
What?
There's
What?
a thing, the
What
Epstein file.
What Epstein files?
Oh, Epstein
There's
file.
nothing in them.
Oh, we're talking about more.
They're empty.
So Project
They're all
2025 is kind of another distraction. Oh my goodness.
wow,
I'm sure
wow,
Epstein had a
wow.
lot of pornography going on.
No, not him.
Oh,
And Mr. 47, he had nothing to do with that.
you called him Mr. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Number 47. Oh
yeah.
boy, I tell you what, a lot of distraction. And the
Mhm.
biggest distraction of all has come in this next form of Project 2025, immigration.
Mm.
My goodness.
Mass deportations.
What does it say about that?
Facilitate mass deportations, potentially with assistance of the U.S. military or National Guard, and encourage law enforcement to participate in immigration enforcement. Folks, that it's 100% happening.
Okay, let me say that I'm gonna piggyback off of that.
Mhm.
This was written down before he even went into the White House.
Oh, but he knew nothing about
But
it.
and this is exactly, people, put on your eyes and your ears. The Bible says eyes can see and ears can hear.
Yeah.
My goodness. This was written before he even went into office with the Heritage
Yeah.
Foundation and Stephen Miller, and that's in part 2 episode. We'll get into that. Don't forget to tune in for that one coming up. But this was written down.
Yeah.
The military in the street, our U.S. military, to protect us from our enemies. And he has said the other day that it's the enemy within. So they started this mass deportation because he's trying to tell you that even citizens that look a certain way, they're the enemy within. So we're going to deport them. We're going to put our military in the street.
Mhm.
In the Supreme Court, in California, the ruling went down from the federal judge that it was unlawful to harass and detain people based upon the color of their skin and the way they talk or the way they walk.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna be real with you, people. Mass deportations. There's not one white illegal immigrant deported. I'll say that again. There's not been one white illegal immigrant deported.
Mhm.
I know people, my children know people that are friends of theirs that are Eastern European here illegally. And I even worked with some from different countries like Russia and Bosnia, so on and so forth, that have no papers. They're working here. No one's knocking at their door. Come on now, let's don't get it twisted. And here we go. That goes along with that immigration that was written in Project 2025.
Border
Wall funding. Well, don't we know about somebody that collect millions of dollars and never built a foot of a wall? Score funding to complete the wall on the U.S.-Mexico border. More brown folks. That, I mean...
I do agree that we need to do something to control our borders more, for sure. I agree with that.
No, you know what's interesting? I remember a few months ago, we allowed 59 South African people would just land in the airport and get treated with cookies and Kool-Aid and ham sandwiches. I said sandwiches because there was a lie that they were being harassed. The people from Africa came over and talked. They had no statistics to verify that. But these people got to walk in with nothing else. And now we're also having these, $1 million gold bond things where you can You can just come into the country.
If you
pay
have $1
month-
million
if you
and you pay
$1 million,
the government,
don't vet you for nothing and just give the money.
yep, free ride. Give us $1 million.
This convicted felon in chief is making money in the White House.
So next one, changes to asylum and refugee programs drastically limit asylum claims and suspend the U.S. refugee admission program. Don't forget, folks. Don't forget, they're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs.
Well, asylum, I remember it always reminds me of Bela Karoli, the Romanian gymnastics coach, and Witt. She was also a gymnast. I think she was from Russia, though, and Katerina Witt, and how they didn't jump back on that plane to go back to Russia or to Romania. They pleaded for asylum.
Yeah.
No problem. We love you. You are not a Tory. Our daughter calls it melanated person. I like how she says that. That's interesting. You even heard him say, you know who him is. He said, "Why can't we get more Norwegian immigrants?" And then there's also a question. We talk about immigrants being here. He's married to one.
Yeah. And I hope you all know that I was just being funny about eating the cats and dogs. That was Mr. 47's words, not mine.
He wasn't being funny. He was trying to put out an image. And changes to asylum program. Another one here, increased fees.
That's happened. We just talked about
Impose
that.
or increased fees for asylum seekers and other immigration applications. It is expensive already.
Yeah.
And it gets worse.
Yep.
And then
because we only want rich white people in this country.
And here's another thing that's being set up with Project 2025. I'm trying to help you out, folks. If you haven't read it, this is a summation that goes of all the areas in Project 2025. So you don't have to read all 930 pages. Economic and social safety net, tax cuts, reduce corporate and high income taxes. Some proposals suggest a flat federal tax system. That's where the rich get richer.
And the poor is getting poorer.
Then under Social Security and Medicare, advocate for increasing the full retirement age to 69 for Social Security and push more Medicare recipients toward private Medicare Advantage plans. You in insurance, you know about that.
Yeah, and I understand this, but what I and I get why they want to push the full retirement age to 69 is because, folks, our Social Security system is due to go broke real soon. And I wonder why.
Don't say, well, I know why.
I'm being me too, but you know why?
Yeah,
tell us.
They've taken money from it.
And
they borrowed the money, took it out, and never paid it back.
So when you borrow it, you're supposed to pay it back, and it was never paid back.
They don't believe in that payback.
It was never paid back. So
James Brown said, "Hit me on the payback."
It used to be 65, full retirement age.
Did you hear that, James Brown?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it went to 67, and now they're proposing to push it to 69. Folks, I don't know if I'll ever be able to retire.
It's going to probably be up to 82. Well,
so if for those who don't know, I am an insurance agent, and I specialize in helping people who have Medicare with their options. And one of those options does include Medicare Advantage plans, and it's an awesome opportunity for those to save money as well as get great benefits. But I also help people, like I said, they have options. So they can also stay on original Medicare and go with a Medicare supplement, which costs a little bit more. But some people like that, and that's perfectly fine. It's not a one size fits all.
Okay.
So I'm a little nervous about this because this is taking away the options of going on to a supplement.
Okay, Project 2025.
That's right.
Another area that's
taking
really
away your freedoms
impacts everybody. Cuts to social programs, limit access to food assistance, SNAP, and cut funding for programs like Head Start.
Oof.
How disgusting.
So let's just cut all the funding that's going to help our young children have a head start in life
And
for their
have,
learning.
but not only that, you know,
And let's cut their
children
food.
children learn better when they have a full stomach and
Mhm.
can study, and that they're not coming to school hungry all day, and
Mhm.
they don't care. They don't care about
Yep.
that. Another area is affordable housing. Slash
Yeah.
funding for affordable housing and increase mortgage insurance rates on FHA loans. Now think about this. We already have a homeless situation in this country. We
Boy, do we
always
ever.
and we have people that are sleeping in boxes
Yep.
under bridges, everything
Yep.
else, and trying to get into a home,
Yep.
affordable home. Now they want to take that away, keep them on the street or dump them somewhere.
We have places near us where the homeless sleep in tents,
Yes,
where they sleep in their cars.
and you should see. I see so many cars packed with clothes and
Mhm.
food and
Mhm.
everything, and that's their house.
Yep.
And the car, back we call it, the car is actually a hoopty. I mean, that's
Mhm.
kind of like something that's held together by
Duct tape.
duct tape, chewing gum, and
Yeah.
glue.
Yep.
Another area that's being affected, and this is Project 2025, people. I'm giving you a summation of it all.
Mhm.
Climate and environment. Eliminate climate initiatives. Oh, there's no such thing as global warming.
Mhm.
Reverse efforts to combat climate change, cut funding for climate science and renewable energy research, and withdraw from the Paris Agreement.
Already
Now,
done.
already done. I'm going to throw in here the other thing about, I think we didn't touch on it, and that deals with CDC. We have a guy,
Mhm.
RFK, who's eliminating, this gets to the same thing, eliminate vaccines because there's no such thing as measles and mumps, so to speak. They don't need any vaccines. It fits in right with climate initiative controls. There's
Yep.
no such thing
Yep.
as global warming. No, dismantle NOAA, break up private parts of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. That's what it is.
To hell with you, Florida.
My gosh.
And why do I say that? Because of the hurricanes.
There we go.
Mhm.
Expand fossil fuels and promote oil and gas production and prioritize energy security. We already are battling having energy and gas, right? And I was at the gas pump the other day. And I was putting gas at the Walmart gas station. I was looking at the price of gas. When I remember back in the day, we would pitch in a quarter apiece, be a few of us, didn't take much, and we would fill up a tank of gas for $1.50.
Mm. That's dirt cheap today.
and
Yeah.
and ride around.
Yep.
My cousin, he was the only one driving, and he
Mhm.
got his daddy's car, and we go. It was 3 on the tree.
So, in other
That means a
words,
3-speed on the steering
yeah.
column.
Yeah.
And
Well, we used to for fun where I lived, we used to go cruising the one-way streets in our cars, gas guzzlers, and
yeah,
we could do that all night long for $5. It was awesome.
yeah, we had cars where there was actually like sofas
Yeah.
as the front and back seat.
Yep.
Motel on wheels, as they call it.
But, this is all about drill, baby, drill.
What you got in that coffee?
Tea.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Then
but
we,
obviously I do we can't get away totally 100% from fossil fuels, but the previous administration was trying to do their best to get us on more on the electric side of things, and I like I said, I don't think we're ever going to be able to get 100% away from using fossil fuels, but we need to reduce our carbon footprint in this world.
There you go, Miss Scientist. So then we have the military and foreign policy. This is one that really hurts because, Dave, as we said earlier, Project 2025 has allowed our military to be walking our streets. Oh yeah, don't you know that there's mass the enemy upon us in Portland, Oregon,
Mhm.
and all over Chicago,
Mhm.
and all over Washington, D.C.
Yep.
So we got the military there. But here it says withdraw from WHO, the World Health Organization.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the next one says reoriented alliances, realign international relationships to serve a quote values aligned agenda and potentially withdraw from existing nuclear frameworks.
Mm.
So that's pretty sick,
Yep.
that we are going through these kind of things. And so what, Russia, if you have missiles and so on and so forth? Troop reinstatement, reinstate military members who were discharged for refusing the COVID-19 vaccine.
Okay, well, for that one, I will say I am in 100% agreement, believe it or not.
Well, anyway.
They shouldn't have been discharged. It's a freedom of choice.
And finally, we get look at the implementation, Project 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Emphasizes this is kind of a summation, emphasizes the use of presidential executive actions and staffing lawlessness throughout the government to implement its goals, though some proposals would require congressional approval. And we know what's going on in Congress. They're all in his hip pocket.
Yeah.
If you don't agree with me, I can come after you. Some have death threats. A database of potential staff and a training academy were created to prepare people for government service.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, he's picked out Project 2025, pick people out. It's just like what they do in these, did in Nazi Germany.
Mm-hmm.
They pick people out that were going to be true to Hitler. Loyalists to Hitler. And that's kind of what happened. And so that's Project 2025 in a nutshell. Then, back in the day, I was part of a program in Chicago that was headed by Reverend Jesse Jackson. And this is how I see how things should be done. And that promotes economy, like in Chicago on the South Side, especially in the neighborhood, trying to give people an empowerment to do things. So Operation Breadbasket was a civil rights economic justice program founded by the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as the economic arm of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. Now, you got to remember one very important thing, and I mentioned this in the last episode. Being a pastor, being a preacher, we have our ministry, but everything we do is ministry. Even Dr. King, being a preacher, understood how important social justice was. So he had the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SLC, and my mentor, Reverend Dr. C.T. Vivian, was part of that. But in 1962, this happened in Chicago. The program headed by Reverend Jesse Jackson used boycotts and negotiations to pressure companies to hire Black workers. This gets back to the DEI. Lack of opportunity to increase their engagement with Black-owned businesses and promote economic opportunities for the Black community. The successful program significantly increased Black income and employment before evolving into the Rainbow/Push Coalition. My cousin Big Mike still works for People United to Save Humanity. That's what the Push Coalition is. So what did Operation Breadbasket do? First of all, wouldn't it be nice if we all had this economic empowerment? The program aimed to channel bread, that means money, into the community, Black community. Well, it could be for all communities by securing jobs for Black workers and promoting the use of Black-owned businesses. You see, DEI was something that didn't exist back then. So the people, Operation Breadbasket, had to create it and had to go in and talk to companies and say, it's okay, please help us become part of you. Don't buy campaigns. Operation Breadbasket would organize boycotts of companies that failed to hire Black employees or engage with Black suppliers. That had happened, folks. That's why DEI came about, was to, quote, level the playing field, so to speak, give everybody an opportunity to learn and work together. So negotiations, so after identifying companies Coca-Cola was a big one that really came over and started helping. And Jesse Mills, he got funded by the Coca-Cola company, and it was in Chicago, to do his tumbling program. Did I say Jesse? I think I did that right. Jesse White, sorry, to do his tumbling programs. After identifying companies with discriminating hiring practices or a lack of black employees, the program would negotiate with businesses leaders to secure new jobs and contract for the black community. People woke up and started listening.
Yeah.
It was an incredible thing, Operation Breadbasket. Forget Forget about your fears. So, key achievements in Chicago that's under siege right now by this 47, as Jennifer says, in Chicago. And I'm going to show a clip in a few minutes about what's happening. Increased black employment. Within the first 15 months in Chicago, the program successfully negotiated creation of 2,000 jobs for black workers. Think about that. Economic growth. These negotiated jobs resulted in an unprecedented $15 million in new annual income for the black community in Chicago. Self-sustaining. And so the broader impact of this from Operation Breadbasket was also organized expos. I remember that quite well, promoted black-owned business, products and services, and fostered a sense of black pride. So it's really great when you are in a community and you're having the ability to have that. So we're going to move right along. What do you think about Breadbasket?
I think it was an awesome thing, awesome organization.
It's about relationships.
And I think that it's sad that in a matter of months, DEI is just gone.
You know, when we met, we used to meet at the SHIP, Fellowship Baptist Church, Reverend Clay Evans, in the basement. And I was just a shorty, as they call it, and that's where I met Reverend Dr. C.T. Vivian, and he became a friend and a mentor of mine, and we ended up working together sometimes. And I ended up teaching at the same university where he went, and so this where we are right now. I want to share with you things that have happened, but I'm going to get to what has happened with how this works with Hitler. Okay, so I'm going to jump to this here video, and so you can see what is going on right now in our country. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but give you an idea about how this fits into what we're experiencing and how Hitler works into this.
Rise to power, there was a group that played an extremely significant and brutal part in his rise to the position of Führer. The SA were integral to the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, and their violent antics would be pivotal
Soldiers
in
in the
establishing
streets.
Nazi rule over Germany. In this video, we'll look at who were the SA,
We don't have
who were their
soldiers
key
in the
leaders
streets
and
now, do we?
individuals, the history of the group, and much more. To support our channel, please make sure to subscribe. Firstly, let's look at what SA actually means. It stands for Sturmabteilung, which in German means Storm Detachment. The foundation of the SA actually predates the formation of the Nazi Party, interestingly, and it was an older establishment. When World War I
March in the
came to a
streets
conclusion
just
in
like this.
1918 and Germany surrendered, there are a number of independent paramilitary groups or units that plagued the defeated country. These were known as the Freikorps and were made up of prominently First World War veterans who had returned from combat. The Freikorps fought against communism and other groups that they believed were to blame for the German defeat of the conflict. The groups were very popular, with an estimated 400,000 men involved in their paramilitary activity by 1921. One of these was known as the Turn und Sportabteilung, or the Gymnastics and Sport Division, based in Bavaria. This would later be rebranded into the Sturmabteilung, or SA. The SA would become deeply entrenched and associated with the German Workers' Party, which also saw a rebrand into the more historically notorious Nazi Party under the leadership of Hitler. At the time, speaking in public about politics was a rather dangerous thing to do in Germany, so the original task of the SA was to protect their prized asset Adolf Hitler, as such speeches and gatherings would often attract communists. the SA's enemies and would result in ferocious brawls and violence. This would play into Hitler's hands, as the members of the SA were made up mostly of old military, who certainly knew how to handle themselves, and they knew how to deal with these events when it kicked off. When fights would break out, the police under the Weimar government were usually unable to cope and were powerless, and it would be the SA who would restore law and order. This would give Hitler vital ammunition in his speeches, claiming that the Weimar government lacked leadership and power to govern the country effectively, saying he was the one person who could restore Germany to greatness and control law and order.
Okay, I wanted to end it there. He is the one person that can restore Germany to law and order. Isn't that what we've been hearing? I'm going to bring back law and order, and I'm going to bring it back to America. I'm going to put my troops in the street. I didn't want to go through the entire video, but I want to give you an idea. So
I don't know about you, but I don't feel more protected with our troops walking the American streets.
right. But let me add to this here. So this is how we got told what was going to happen.
Announcing the commencement of the annual Purge.
What the hell is going on? See, we have to let the police do their job. And if they have to be extraordinarily rough, the police want to do it. The Border Patrol wants to do it.
Oh my God.
You know, if you had one day, like one real rough, nasty day with the drugstores as an example. Now, if you had one really violent day.
At the siren, all crime will be legal for 12 hours.
We're seeing this right now. You see on the news, you see how these brown folks and black folks are being treated rough. One rough day, rough hour. Let them do what they want to do.
Rough hour, and I mean real rough. The word will get out, and it will end immediately.
I purged to keep my country great.
You see, he's trying to create a purge, and we can't continually pretend that this is not happening. I'll try to be short here in what's happening with this. I'm going to close with this in my town of Chicago, and this is what he's done. It'll play in a minute.
Or not.
No, it will. You sing us a song. Well, I don't know why it's not playing.
Well, let's just talk a little bit about that last clip that you played.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty sobering.
Yes.
One really rough day, and I mean really rough. What the hell is he talking about?
Well, what he's talking about is that he wants people to go in and do what they want
Yep.
to affect
Yep.
the population.
Yeah. He thinks that having a rough day, purging this country of those who maybe aren't following the law will straighten the rest of the people up.
Well, this may not work right now, so
It's disgusting thoughts.
Yeah, my clip isn't going to work today for what I want to show you.
That's like saying that's like a parent making an example of an older child who did wrong. Well, I'm going to just beat their butt, and the rest of the kids are going to just follow suit. because they're going to see how bad it is. That was his mindset.
Yeah, and so what I'll do next time is I'll show this clip, but our next session will go into more about the architect behind Project 2025 and more of the things that are happening under this purge. There's just so much going on out there, folks, that it's so hard sometimes to wrap my head around it, that these things are happening in front of our eyes.
So, dear, what's the bottom line here? What do we need to do?
The bottom line is we have to stay strong.
Yeah.
We have to keep praying.
Have to stay woke.
Have to stay woke. And so what I like to say that we here at Race and Cultures Bridging the Divides are here to bring forth whatever we can information to help you understand.
This is education, folks.
I know it took a while to get through the entire Project 2025. Remember, they took decades putting this together to take apart our country.
And don't take our word for it. Do your own research.
Always do your research. And you can find out more about us if you go to our website, Race and Cultures, bridgingthedivides.com. It's like the name of our show. And you can also do that at the QR code at the top is a donation button.
We appreciate all donations.
That. I know this is a longer episode, but I'm not going to rush through things. Just, it's like going to church. Some people want to be over in 10 minutes. But when you're trying to bring truth to power, a lot of the things that have happened didn't happen in 15 minutes.
Nope.
So I'm going to take my time and try to share with people the truth and educate. 2 Timothy says, let's rightly divide the word of truth.
Amen.
So you can always go and find out more about us with our on our website. Please feel free to go and also like and subscribe to this channel.
Yes, please.
That just helps us. This is a nonprofit. I don't make, I'm not into making money, but I am into trying to help people open up their minds and their hearts.
It's our ministry, folks.
It's our ministry, and God, and God tells us that we need to say, all people need to look to Him, from which cometh all your help.
Yeah.
Our strength comes through the Holy Spirit every single day, and we are so glad to be able to be a part of everybody's life and to help you see some things. I'm sorry about the last video, but I'll get that. I don't know why it didn't work, but
it's okay.
That happens sometimes.
We just ask that you go in peace.
Go in peace. We love all of you, and I hope you love us. And have a blessed rest of your weekend. And I'm going to drink some more so I can stay woke the rest of the weekend.
Stay woke, folks. Peace out.
We love you.
All right.
Peace out.
Peace out.
All right.